Welcome back. Crypto takes another hit. The price of Bitcoin slumping better than 10% before recovering yesterday. This morning, Bitcoin is up, as you can see, amid fears of more government interference in cryptocurrencies called regulation. We're also learning that the Justice Department recovered much of the Bitcoin ransom following the Colonial Pipeline hack. Joining me right now is Electronic Transactions Association CEO Jodie Kelley. Jodie, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. I guess I want to get right to the issue of how it was possible that the U.S. Was able to recover much of the ransom paid by Colonial Pipeline. That in and of itself is raising questions about the safety and anonymity of Bitcoin, which, of course, was a major selling point of these cryptocurrencies.
Exactly. And good morning, Maria. Thank you for having me here. So the Colonial Pipeline story is an interesting one, and it's one of several recent examples of Bitcoin being used to pay in a ransomware attack. And as you note, presumably one of the reasons for that is that Bitcoin was designed to be anonymous. That was a conscious design choice. And with any type of digital currency, there are all kinds of design choices to be made, and they involve trade-offs, anonymity versus the ability to fight crime, for example. I think what this example shows is that even conscious design choices may not always play out as planned. We don't know how law enforcement was able to access and retrieve that Bitcoin, but I do think it highlights the importance of those choices. And that's a really important conversation right now. Around the world consider the design and adoption of their own digital currencies, and we're seeing those currencies proliferate.
Yeah, so, I mean, El Salvador becomes the first country to adopt the Bitcoin as actual legal tender, right? Jodie, passing the measure with a super majority. I mean, will other countries follow suit now with this new information that, in fact, Bitcoin can apparently be tracked and recovered? We just learned that from the hack and the ransom paid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is going to be a very interesting one to watch. Bitcoin is legally traded in countries around the world, of course, including our own, and countries all over are figuring out just how to treat it. Here in the U.S., for example, it's categorized as commodity or property. As you say, El Salvador just approved Bitcoin as legal tender, which essentially means it can be used to pay any debt, and it has to be accepted. Now, as we've seen, Bitcoin is highly volatile. There are real price fluctuations. And as a general matter, that makes it less suitable for payments. If you're a car dealer and you accept Bitcoin for the purchase of a car, and by the end of the day, the values drop by half, that's hard on your business. And that's why we're seeing other types of digital currency emerge, particularly in the payment space, including stable coins, which are tied to fiat currencies and therefore less volatile. And again, governments around the world are experimenting with issuing their own digital currencies, digital versions of their own dollars called central bank digital currency.
Yeah. So real quick, Jodie, the Global Payments Trade Association released its 7 guiding principles for central bank digital currency. Tell us the recommendations. We know that this is another major competition with China. They want to have a digital yuan and do as much as they can to do away with the reserve currency of the world, which is the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, so I think it's important to note that, we live in a world where money moves digitally all day, every day, quickly and securely. And nowhere is that more true in this country. We have a very robust payment system. And so as our own government looks at whether or not to implement a central bank digital currency, as the Fed chairman noted, is whether and how such a currency could improve on an already safe and effective and dynamic payment system. And as we discussed, any kind of CBDC would involve choices. And so we have put out some principles that are designed to guide policymakers in those choices.
Jodie, it's great to have you. We're going to watch those principles and go through them. We appreciate you being here this morning. Jodie Kelley, we'll be right back.